When the Titanic set out on its only voyage 100 years ago this week, it was the largest moving object ever created by man. This Sunday, the anniversary of the disaster. The wreckage site on the ocean floor will go under UN protection. We'll speak with James Cameron about that and much more in just a moment. But first, Ben Tracy reports on a controversial sale of thousands of items from the wreck.
For an entire century, the Titanic has rested in its watery grave, more than 2 miles below the surface of the Atlantic Ocean.
And we are starting to go up.
Paul Henry Nargelet has been to the Titanic 6 times. His company, RMS Titanic Inc., claimed the wreck in court in 1994. It owns the rights to all of the artifacts on and around the ship. The company has salvaged more than 5,500 items, plates, passengers' money, and jewelry. They even raised a 17-ton piece of the Titanic itself.
What we have here is a book of Spanish grammar.
These artifacts are first cleaned and documented at a lab in Atlanta. They are then put on display at exhibits like this one in Las Vegas. RMS Titanic plans to sell the entire collection in a winner-takes-all auction. It has been controversial since more than 1,500 people died when the ship sank.
There are those people, family members, who feel like that is a sea grave that should not be disturbed. What do you say to that?
I will say, I understand that, but I think it's good to show to the public what was this tragedy, and that cost a lot of money.
Yet here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, the connection to the Titanic is much more personal. 209 bodies of the victims were recovered and brought back to this city, 150 of them buried in cemeteries like this one around town. Each headstone shares the same infamous date.
It is really what is the legacy found here in Halifax that you will not find anywhere else in the world.
Blair Bede says this maritime city on Canada's eastern coast was the closest major port to the wreck. Halifax sent 2 boats to recover the dead. Bede's grandfather worked at the funeral home where the bodies were identified, including John Jacob Astor IV, one of the richest men in America.
When you walk among those graves and you stand in front of a grave of a housewife and listing the 4 children lost in the sinking with her, I think that's the real story.
Those recovery ships also found pieces of the Titanic floating in the water, a wooden deck chair, ornate wood moldings from the ship's grand staircase. These items are on display at Halifax's Maritime Museum. The collection in Las Vegas, taken from the ocean floor, does not sit well with some here.
I find it offensive. My great-aunt's wedding dress is down there.
Rob Gordon lost 2 relatives on the Titanic. He feels the wreck should be left alone.
It's a grave. There's a lot of people down there, their personal possessions, and I just think it's wrong to sift through them and then put a price tag on that stuff.
However, what's left of the Titanic is disappearing, eaten away by bacteria and time.
The deterioration is coming from the back to the front.
Paul Henry Nargelet worries that the chance to salvage this massive piece of history is fading. Rob Gordon says the memories of what happened never will.
The ship could disappear tomorrow. I don't think it changes the stories. It doesn't change the history, and it doesn't change how I feel about it.
For CBS This Morning, Ben Tracy, Halifax, Nova Scotia.